Hey everyone, I'm Andy and welcome to another episode of Easy Tiki Drinks. And today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at another of Jason Alexander's cocktails called the Reanimator. So, let's do this. Now over the past couple of weeks we've been doing a bunch of cocktails by Jason Alexander. And no, I don't mean George Costanza, the actor from Seinfeld. And if you want to see me go into a whole tirade about who I'm talking about, make sure to check out my original video on Jason Alexander's signature cocktail, Devil Reef. Anyway, Jason owns Devil's Reef in Tacoma, Washington, which is a nautical-themed tiki bar. Today we're going to be taking a look at another one of his creations called the Reanimator. So, let's see what we're going to need to build this. First, we're going to need an Overproof Demerara Rum. Next up, we're going to need an aged Jamaican Rum. We're going to need Dawn's Zombie Mix, Passionfruit Syrup, and lemon juice. The Overproof Demerara Rum that I'm using is Plantation OFTD. The aged Jamaican is Plantation Yamaka. The Dawn's Zombie Mix is homemade. The Passionfruit Syrup, also homemade. And then the lemon juice is fresh squeezed. Let me rearrange this real quick. Nice and simple. Awesome. Now, as you may have noticed in other videos that I talk about with Jason Alexander, he uses strictly plantation rums. So that's why we're using them today. But feel free to sub out any of the other types of rums, Hamilton 151, Smith & Cross, Appleton 12, for the corresponding rum, and it should do pretty well. Next, we're going to build this cocktail, and then while I sip on it, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about where I got the recipe from, what Jason Alexander actually has to say about the Reanimator, and what his thought process was behind the cocktail. So, first we're going to need 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Half an ounce of passionfruit syrup. Quarter of an ounce of our Dawn's Zombie Mix. Now, I've done a whole video on the Dawn Zombie Mix, and it was actually one of Jason Alexander's other cocktails called the Doomsayer Grog. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a card up here and a link down below so you can get a little bit more detail into this. But essentially, it is equal parts orange curacao, falernum, grenadine, and absinthe. So we're going to need 1/4 ounce of our Zombie Mix. Next up, we need 1.5 ounces of our aged Jamaican rum. And last but not least, 1/2 ounce of our aged Overproof Demerara Rum. For those of you paying attention, I always call this an Overproof Demerara Rum. While it isn't strictly Demerara Rum, it also contains Jamaican and Barbados rum. This is what the minimalist tiki would classify this as, so that's what I call it. It also gives you kind of an idea of like what else to sub for it. 1/2 ounce. Add ice to our shaker. And we're gonna give it a nice little whip shake for about 5 to 8 seconds. This does call for a zombie glass, so I just happen to have my everyday zombie glass, or everyone's zombie glass. So all we're gonna do is just open pour right into that. And of course we're gonna top it off with more crushed ice. For a garnish, we're gonna go nice and simple and just a little mint sprig. Make sure to give it a whack to wake it up. Place it right in the back here. Don't forget your straw. And there you have it, Jason Alexander's Reanimator. Let's give it a try. All right, that is a tart, strong, spicy note. So basically the lemon juice is adding a lot of acidity combined with the passion fruit to create a very tart cocktail. This is not sweet by any means, which I find Jason, some of his cocktails can be on the sweeter side. This is definitely not one of them. That Dawn Zombie Mix is then adding a depth and a layer of this anise and spice that you get from the falernum and from the absinthe. The rums just help kind of round everything else out. So, where did the Reanimator come from? Well, I got the recipe from Minimalist Tiki by Matt Pietrek. And Carrie Smith, I believe, was the co-author. So that's where this cocktail came from. Now, talking to Jason, he actually told me this cocktail has never been on his menu at Devil's Reef. So why did it show up in Minimalist Tiki? Well, I guess Matt asked him for one more cocktail, and this is the one Jason decided to go with. So where did this design of this cocktail come from? Well, it's based loosely, and I mean very loosely, but the idea here was to create a modern version of a Dr. Funk. Now, a Dr. Funk could also be called an absinthe lemonade. It's an old school drink from the golden era of Tiki. Basically, it upped the level of absinthe that we typically find in Tiki drinks from a bar spoon to I think it was like a quarter of an ounce. And what that did, combined with the lemon juice, created this kind of like tart and spicy cocktail. It was actually said to be developed in the Polynesian islands as a medicine, as a cure by an actual medicine man, a Westerner that was over there practicing medicine, I believe. If you happen to know the real story, drop a comment below because I'd love to hear more about the actual original story of the Dr. Funk. Anyway, when Jason was creating this cocktail, that was his inspiration for this. He wanted to create a modern version of an absinthe lemonade. So he stuck with the lemon juice, he added the passionfruit syrup to kind of create this extra tart note. And then instead of using just absinthe, he wanted to use Dawn's Zombie Mix, which includes absinthe, but also other flavors, especially that falernum. And then Jason's signature combination of rums, the Plantation Yamaka, and the Plantation OFTD. Anyway, that's it for today. By the way, if you've made it this far to the video and I sound a little weird, I apologize. I seem to be coming down with a cold. So, I'm sorry. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that little notification bell. Follow me over on Instagram and TikTok at EasyTikiDrinks. And until next time, take it easy.